Hello, everyone, and welcome to The Chew. I'm Robert Wallace, and this is the place where we ask, are we choosing the way of Jesus, or are we choosing our own way? The way of Jesus is God's perspective. You know, it's difficult to see another person's perspective at times. I think this is often due to our own preconceived thoughts and ideas. I mean, we all have experiences that shape how we see things, hear things, and react or respond to the things in life. I believe we see this in Habakkuk's complaints to God and his reactions to what God is going to do. He is deeply distressed in his spirit by what he's seeing every day. The injustices, the sins of the people toward one another, destruction and violence, and his question, God, what is going on? He's been calling out to God for help, and all he's been getting is silence. And so he asks, God, are you listening? God's response to Habakkuk tells him and tells us that God is aware. He knows what's happening. And as bad as things look, God has a plan that is greater than simply bringing an end to all the things that Habakkuk is complaining about. Finally, we see in chapter 3 of Habakkuk where he has chosen to accept God's plan, and he is ready to walk in that plan. Now, we discussed earlier this week that God's will and timing. There is a joy that's found walking in God's plan. To know that we know God's plan is perfect in time and that his perspective is one that sees things from his high view, and his goal is to turn all hearts back to himself. Jesus knew that his birth took place at the perfect time, at the perfect place, and to the mother and father that God had planned. God's perspective is always about the redemption of lost souls, the restoration of the relationship he planned for his created people from the beginning. God does not plan for bad things to happen to us, folks. We live in a broken world among broken people. Let's not forget, God is in the restoration business. Let's not forget this. God has plans for us. Jeremiah 29:11. Jesus is God's only plan for salvation of souls in this world. John 3, verses 16 and 17. God has a plan for getting his message, the good news of Jesus Christ, out to humanity, and it is you and me. Matthew 28, verses 16 through 20. My friends, God's perspective is eternal. His plan is for us to love him and love others. Luke chapter 10, verse 27. Jesus came to fulfill God's will in God's timing because God's perspective is on the eternal matters. The way of Jesus is God's perspective. Now we need to choose. Are we going to follow and choose the way of Jesus, the path that leads to life, or are we choosing our own way? Now I pray that as you consider what I've shared with you here today, that you will take the time to read these passages, and when doing so, invite the Holy Spirit to give you eyes to see and ears to hear God's truth from his word. Have a receptive heart and mind to receive these truths, and then take a step of faith today. Choose God's perspective with the same boldness, commitment, and courage of Jesus. I pray you'll have a wonderful day, my friends. Go in the peace of God. Blessings to you. Bye for now.